We're already starting a new school year. Just deep that for a second. That's one more school year that's passed where you promised yourself that this would be the year. This would be your year. You're gonna have an academic comeback and it's gonna be like the best school year you've ever had.
Who's shit? This shit, it's my year, bro.
But it just ended up being mid once more. You didn't perform well in tests, you didn't learn anything new, and you didn't achieve any of your goals. You've gone to school for a whole year, and yet it just feels like that time was meaningless. And so whether this year is an important school year for you because you have big exams coming up, or you're just tired of school feeling boring and repetitive, and you just want to get more out of school because you're going to have to spend the same amount of time in it anyway, so you might as well learn how to win. This video is made for you. And if you clicked on this, you're already on the right path. As Alex Amosi said, winners commit to actions, whereas losers wish for outcomes. So here are 5 things that I followed last year that made me have my best school year. Meeting new people, trying new things, going outside my comfort zone, and getting the best grades I've ever gotten. So chapter 1 is study efficiently. When it comes to students and like becoming a better student, the first thing that comes to mind is learning how to study more efficiently, right? Notice how I said study more efficiently, because although people think like, okay, I need to like block out more time to study more effectively, that's very limiting, and it makes it so that you neglect all these other aspects of being a student that makes school enjoyable. And so when you study, you have to learn how to increase the intensity, because the equation for knowledge is time spent studying times intensity squared. So if we can't increase the time studying, we can increase the knowledge output just by increasing the intensity. Increasing the intensity of studying just means making it more difficult, so that the rate at which we learn increases. So this means you're no longer going to write notes or reread your notes or highlight the textbook. This means you have to do stuff such as the Feynman technique, which means explaining the concept that you learned to another person, doing past papers, making flashcards, or re-summarizing materials in your own words or analogies. Studies literally prove that when it's more difficult and you make mistakes, that's when you learn at an exponentially faster rate rather than just passive forms of revision. In the gym, it's when the sets hurt and like you're literally struggling on those very last reps, that's where you see the progress, right? And so studying, although like we don't want you to be in physical pain, the same principle applies that it needs to be very, very difficult, and that's when the most growth comes. This is the forgetting curve, and this diagram shows that you end up actually forgetting 70 to 80% of the stuff that you learn very, very quickly, unless you review it again. And so the mistake that a lot of students make, and the mistake that you might make, is you get yourself motivated and you get yourself to study. You end up forgetting all of it because you don't review it. You have to review it for the information to stick and go to your long-term memory. You should study little but often and plan in advance. Avoid cramming, especially if you want to remember it for a long period of time. And lastly, focus. In both the macro and micro sense. Focus when you study, because when you get distracted while studying, it takes 17 minutes to focus back onto the task. When your phone rings and you shoot a text message and you think that takes 30 seconds, it's actually taking 17 minutes and 30 seconds for you to refocus back on the task. Every time you also switch tasks, it takes 10 times as longer to complete the task if you had just stuck to that one task. Try to do the things that distract you, such as like Netflix or your phone, at a completely different designated time other than when you're studying, and you'll remember and learn at a faster rate. Chapter 2, mental health. Whatever happened in the past is in the past. A lot of us hold on to our failures, and so you still think you're stupid and you still think you're just bad at maths because you like got 60% on a test like last year. You can't expect to see results if you don't believe in yourself. This is called learned helplessness, when an experience or occurrence in the past dictates your actions and mindset to this day. Start adopting a growth mindset. Each failure and mistake is a stepping stone for you to be able to improve. You can't improve if you didn't make mistakes. You have to start to view like where you are right now as a starting point. It's not permanent. It's called a starting point for a reason. I did pretty poorly in my history exams last year, and I just thought that's how it is, and I thought there was nothing I could do, and that led to the cycle of me thinking I'm bad at history, so I ended up not revising, and not revising led me to be worse and worse, and just led to this downwards loop. I always had this bad habit of letting like the past or like one mistake define me, but when I realized that it was just a point of me being able to like take that and improve and saw it as a starting point, that's when I started taking action, actually putting in the work and seeing my grades climb and climb. It all starts with a mental change. So go into the comments right now, and whatever subject it is, might be maths, might be English, might be history, that one subject which you think you're bad at, write in the comments and tell yourself that this is a new start, and write down the actions you're going to do. You're going to start like doing one flashcard a day for history. You're going to start reading one page of that book for English, because remember, it's the actions that will cause a change in the outcomes. The best time to start might have been like 2 years ago, but the second best time to start is always now. Chapter 3, start good habits. Being a student isn't just one thing, it's a collection of good habits. Start practicing good habits such as studying little but often, reading, reviewing flashcards, etc. I promise you that the only reason that I'm a good student and the only reason I'm here today are because of my habits. Once you set them up, they become automatic, and that's so powerful, because regardless of motivation, even on the days where you're feeling ill, you feel really lazy, you're still going to get those habits, those automatic things done. Because I just had a habit of reviewing my flashcards every time I go on public transport. Those little things all add up, and it's called marginal gains, and those things all compounded to make me into the student student I am today. So try making it a habit to review just 10 flashcards a day, or just do Quizlet on public transport instead of TikTok. It's not taking up any more of your time, you're just repurposing your time to use it in a better way. Small habits like this, as we learned before, are what makes it into the big results. Try making a habit to read 10 pages before you sleep every night. Wake up early. Learn how to study even just 15 minutes each day. These are things that will get you ahead. And chapter 4 is to try new things. Try new things this school year. It's not all about academics. Being a good student is just as important to be multi-skilled and enjoying school. I joined the symphony orchestra in my school. I did the piano competition, I performed in badminton competitions, and much more. You might think like, oh bro, this guy's a neek. But the thing is, these things aren't things that I initially wanted to do. If you check out this video, I actually ended up quitting piano and I never wanted to touch it again. But I took the risk, and these things, these experiences are what builds us as a person. And the skills like self-discipline, like motivation and believing in myself, these are all things that you can carry throughout everything. There's a reason that people are good at sports are also good at academics. It's called the overflow effect. Once you're good at something, that confidence goes in all of your regards and everything that you do. And also you get to meet new people and try new things. And this is all stuff that you will take with you. Studies also prove anyway that when you practice a sport or do a co-curricular activity, you do better in your academics. And the skills such as self-discipline and fun you have is amazing to have. You don't lose skills. It's kind of like a permanent buff that you always carry around with you. So learn and try new things this school year. Chapter 5, set goals. None of this works if you're not going to set goals and take action from this video. So for each of the goals you might have, write down the actions you will do. Where is it that you want to get to? Last year, I knew what I wanted this school year to come out as. I knew like my physical goals, my academic goals, and because I knew those goals, I was able to set the action goals that would get me there. So step 1 is knowing where you want to get to. And then for that to happen, you need to write the actions. For example, you want to get really good at like swimming, but you also want to become like really good at your academics. Well, then every day you might make a habit to get up early and then get like swim practice in, but then you want to do 15 minutes or like flashcards on the way there. And then you want to like stay consistent and build up those habits. You probably need a growth mindset, as we talked about, and know that like there are going to be tough times, but it's just a starting point and you get better. Nothing gets easier, you get better. And once you have your goals, like you want to become a better swimmer, for example, you're going to need to learn the skills of like studying more efficiently so you have time for those things. Remember, now you know what you have to do. You have the map in front of you and it's up to you to calibrate that into becoming the student that you always wanted to be. This video is useless if you don't take action upon it. And by the way, if you found this video useful, you might want to check out my program, the Student Accelerator. It's helping students all around the world become the best student that they can be. We offer a host of courses, live interactive calls with exclusive guests, and a community for you to surround yourself with like-minded students. And so if this sounds like something you'd be interested in, check out my free masterclass to find out more, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Anyway, take action in what you learned today, and I'll see you in the next one.
Take action.